Alright, I am back with another Destiny video where once again my predictive powers have failed spectacularly. Bungie is indeed saving the Exorcism event for either the last reset or the last day before Witch Queen drops. I don't understand this. Like, granted, maybe there are aspects that have to do with this that we don't really process at this point, but I don't really get why you would put something in the game just for a week. It's only going to be accessible that long. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me. The fact that they are doing that tells me that this is probably not going to be more than a cutscene. I don't think you would put something like playable, like a big mission, like a big defense, defend the crystal thing or whatever, from swarming Taken or whatever, trying to get her out, or Hive. Like, I would imagine it's literally just going to be a cutscene, something you can catch up with on YouTube if you missed the end of the season, something like that. Weird decision. Feel free to have fun roasting me on Twitter like everyone else is, or in the comments here. So this change is what I was going to talk about today. I had a backup plan prepared because I knew that we had a non-zero chance that this would happen, and my dog is getting in a barking contest with a neighbor dog, if you hear that in the background here. So I'm going to talk about one aspect of the Vidoc that really jumped out at me. I kind of wrote a summary article about some of the highlights of that, but I was really kind of the most impressed, I think, with what we saw from crafting. And then in addition to what we saw in the video itself, we also got, there's actually pretty in-depth, well, not pretty in-depth, it goes through at least the whole process in about 15 seconds for kind of a base crafting ability where quick edit there because I had to go stop a dog fight. Not a real fight, just Evie barking at someone out the window. But okay, so crafting, learned a couple of new things here. First off, we know now that how this works is essentially, if you want to, you can grind out essentially all the available perks on a single copy of a weapon. The UI shows that there are like one or two selectable nodes that you've already unlocked, and then there are a bunch of locked nodes that presumably you can, they don't hover over them, so I'm not exactly sure what the requirements are there, but you can continue to grind those out and then insert them into the respective slots. The catch here is that to change these around, it costs a type of currency. So I don't remember the names of all these currencies off the top of my head, but it's, at least in the video, it's shown that people have a lot of it. It seems like it will be pretty bountiful, but the concept there is you can't just like switch it on the fly. So it's not like having, two final perks in a weapon or something. You would have to go to the crafting station, go to reshape weapon, and then manually switch it around. So if you have one role for PvP and one role for PvE, that's how you would have to switch back and forth between them. A little cumbersome, I guess, but and it doesn't sound like something you'd be able to switch with a loadout, because loadouts can't switch things that cost currencies. That's why they had to take away the glimmer cost for armor mods. So because it's cost a currency, this isn't something you'd just be able to load up in dim with new functionality, I don't think. I do sort of see now how this saves vault space, because in theory, if there's a type of weapon you like, and you're, instead of, going for the randomized, 5 out of 5 roll, you just literally grind out those perks. And if you want an alternate roll, you grind out those additional 1 or 2 perks that you haven't had yet, and then you have all of those options within one gun. Obviously, to have those perks, you need to find those guns with like the deep sight, whatever, to be able to extract the perk. Also, in the Game Informer video, it goes on to show the perks and that there are enhanced versions of the perks that you unlock. These were all locked. I don't know what they're locked behind, if you have to find them, or if they cost a different currency, or if the gun has to be upgraded to a certain level. I'm also not sure how upgraded they are. Like, are we starting, so if you have like normal Rampage, is that starting below like the values of normal Rampage, and then the upgraded version takes you to like, okay, this is like normal Rampage? Or are we starting at normal Rampage and then you can craft a better, more powerful version of Rampage with a 5% higher damage, or lasts 1 second longer, or whatever the enhancement is? All of the perks appear to have enhanced versions. I assume those will just be small kind of value bumps, which raises a lot of questions about balancing, and also raises a lot of questions about the competitiveness potentially of a bunch of weapons that do not have access to craftable enhanced perks. And then these are also weapons that will also have Origin, Foundry, whatever perks attached to them too for additional bonuses. So once again, we are kind of getting into sunsetting without sunsetting territory. In terms that these weapons just seem like they're probably going to be better. Like, it's not like your old weapons will be impossible to use or anything. It's just that crafting is really opening up kind of new and upgraded possibilities for these weapons. But this really kind of reassured me that this is the system I want to see to a certain extent. I didn't know what the process of kind of grinding out multiple perks within the same gun and then switching between them would be. This seems to be a good middle ground between not having any of that and then putting 5 swappable perks in every column or something, which would be kind of absurd. So I get why they did it this way. One red flag a bit is that there are a lot of currencies that are being added for this system. I'm assuming that is going to take up all the slots that we are now getting rid of because we're getting rid of all the seasonal currencies and some of the Tangled Shore stuff and things like that. And weapon telemetries and all that stuff. It seems a bit like the Enhancement Core Prism Shard system for the how we masterwork things and how we do armor. They're new names, but they seem to have those kind of rarities. Like there was something that was a stack of 10 that's like it costs one of those to take the weapon to its final shape or whatever. And I don't exactly know what the perks of that are. I assume, again, this is like a stat increase or something, but it does seem like we will be, having to grind out a lot of these currencies. This also makes me think that new things they're talking about, Banshee's going to have a rank system now, and Legendary Campaigns can give out rewards. This seems like another place where this is probably where we're going to be farming these rewards. I can see them as kind of endgame rewards alongside Ascendant Shards like we have now. Like shards are for masterworking armor, obviously. But there is going to be an equivalent of that for craftable weapons. That seems pretty clear now. And we'll see how that goes. I mean, I get it. And so they've said essentially, they want this to be grindy without being, insanely grindy. And this, I'm hoping to kind of find a mix of both. I always like games that just sort of let you mindlessly grind something where it feels like you're making progress. Even right now, I can run the Strike playlist all day, and I'm not really accomplishing anything other than maybe getting some enhancement cores. I'm because you're not really farming for a specific role or anything, and you're sharding almost everything you get. But under this system, you would be leveling up whatever weapon you're using, and if you have a favorite weapon, you're unlocking more perks for it, or things like that, or putting more gun experience into it, or however that works. So I think that is a good kind of mindless, constant grind that it's going to be in the game forever now. And then I get what they were saying about how this will make you kind of more attached to your weapons because it's, you have taken these weapons from crafting them essentially from nothing and then put all this time into them. And it's that's your gun. This is the stuff you've unlocked for it. They talk about how grinding out for, I forget what they're called, not ornaments, but trinkets or whatever they're called, the cosmetic things are going to be even more grinding, and they were starting with a gambit based one, and they're going to add ones for other endgame activities. Still doesn't sound like that's going to be a microtransaction, and yet never say never. It's a cosmetic thing, so it's possible, certainly, but they have not talked about that, at least at this point, and it may not launch with that, even if that does come later. But even to unlock the ability to have that type of thing on a weapon, it seems like you're going to have to put a metric ton of time in. So I really am happy with what I've seen from weapon crafting so far, even if it's not kind of a full walkthrough of it. We had a twab about it, and we've seen these new images and stuff, but even still, it seems like a lot of stuff we're kind of waiting to see how the system works in practice. But everything I've seen about it sounds really good. I'm actually really excited about crafting. I know most people's were saying they were most excited about Void 3.0 stuff in this, and I agree, it was very cool, but for me, the crafting and the idea of the crafting grind coming up here is what I'm really looking forward to after seeing all this. So anyway, another fun week of being wrong about story events. This has been a weird season in terms of storytelling with a 4.5 month break and it being 6 months long. I don't even know to predict if it's going to be next reset now because it literally could be the day before Witchqueen launches. Who knows? I give up guessing. I said that last week and it came around and bit me, so here we are. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon.